Hi, everybody. Russell Hill, and this is another episode of WTF, and that's What the Fixed Ops. I know it's a little catchy. And I'm joined today by my co-host.
I'm Charity Dunning. I'm the co-host here of WTF, and we have Dave Obrien with us today, who is the president and CEO of Quantum5. Dave, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you, guys. I've had this on my calendar for a while, and I'm really glad to be here.
Excellent.
Yeah,
well,
we
tell
are.
us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
So I am the guy who gets to hang out with a team of unbelievable contributors at Quantum5. They gave me the title president, but I carry their bags and I do anything they need me to do. Quantum5 is a technology company dedicated to the idea of helping the front line of automotive acquire skills that keep them at the cutting edge of customer experience. And we help people from across the sales, the leadership, the service advisor, and the BDC suite. Our goal is to provide them with the opportunity to enhance their income. So our focus is, we definitely want to help the dealer, but first and foremost, what's in our heart is, because everybody on this team came from retail automotive, is how do we help that advisor or that salesperson or that BDC person or that leader in the organization? How do we help them go home at the end of the day and go, this was easier, it was better, I'm doing well, and I don't have to go anywhere, my life's great. So that's kind of our focus.
Let me ask you, because I know a little bit more than I'm going to divulge, but so there's, I've been in automotive a long time, such as you, and I think we met, it was like 20 something years ago or something like that. You've had multiple or you still do have multiple companies. Is that correct or not?
Well, the team at Quantum has proven to be so exciting that I'm down to only one thing that I do anymore, Russell. I still have some financial interests in a couple of other things, but I'm not active. And my last company, Quantum, acquired it. So I really am full-time, all the time, focused on how do we help the dealerships, the OEMs, and all those teams of people that want to create great customer experiences for people.
Yeah, our WTF, it's all Charity's design. I give her all the credit. She is amazing at what she does. It's our number one landing page on our website. As you know, that people find it really hard to listen to an hour-long podcast, but when you can segment it out with different topics to anywhere from 20 to 24 small 40-second to 2-minute takes, you grab a lot of attention, and a lot of our listeners know a little bit about who you are. And I know that as long as I've been associated with automotive, there's been a lot of companies out there. So I want to dive into just a little bit of this, but a lot of companies out there that do training or inspirational or motivational type of stuff. And then after they leave, it falls flat. Is your vision, from what I understand, a completely different model?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And this is an interesting line I try and walk, right? Because first and foremost, I always have to confess that I've been part of the problem. I've been helping automotive with training, learning, and development for 30 years of my career, Russell. And here's what we know, right? Training in automotive has always been kind of broken. It is not something that embraced an ROI delivered. We looked at people like Charity and when she was the dealer, and we went, hey, I don't know what you'll do after I train your people. So it's your fault I can't deliver an ROI, but hey, go watch my videos and it might turn out better. So all of these things were in my mind, including my own failures, right? Including companies that I had that didn't deliver with something sustainable and cost effective for dealers. So Quantum was this idea 2.5 years ago that I started with, but I got to tell you, the person you don't have here today is really the genesis of what we do to keep learning alive today. And that's my co-founder. His name's Ken Herforth. Ken is this combination of experiences and knowledge that starts with, he was the chief strategy officer for Wells Fargo, through he owned his own private equity firm that invested in gaming, and he learned what it was like to be part of creating game loops with people. He was an executive producer of a movie that I always tell people they should go see if they want a feel great movie. I've probably told both of you guys before.
Let's hear it again. The audience wants to know, Dave.
7 Days in Utopia. And as a Texan, Russell, you'll appreciate it was filmed in Utopia, Texas.
Okay.
Right. But if you love golf and you love feel good, Lucas Black, Robert Duvall, just some great people. So Ken learned story. He learned journeys. He learned scripting. So you pull all those things together, and what Quantum is today is the first ever learning sustainment technology. Learning sustainment as in Charity went through some in-person training.
Right.
What if I gave her a community to belong to that helped her keep learning, that had real humans in it? What if I also gave her an app that had fun, playful technology? And I love what you guys said about short bites from these videos, because we deliver everything in what we call snackable. So what if it was snackable? What if it was easy to engage with? What if it kept your trust? What if it was a technology that kept your privacy, right? And lastly, what if it helped you get better at your job? What if your business results improved? And so as we pulled together content and technology and community, Ken and I were able to build something really special.
Well, I know a few of the people you have on board. I've met a lot of them. They're amazing, amazing people, one of which we've already had. Hope to have another one here real soon. Sarah, just an amazing, amazing woman, and extremely talented.
You know the story how I got them? Do you know that story?
No, but I do know where she came from, because that's one of our clients, Scott Clark.
Yes.
So yeah. So tell us.
So we were a young company, and I called Ted Ings. We had been on one Ted Ings virtual roundtable. It's January of 2021, right? First vaccines are out and stuff. And I call up Ted and I go, hey, Ted, I need a top flight fixed operations leader, thinker, visionary on my team. He goes, well, there's two of them that I'm really close to. He goes, you should call Dave Foy. He's ready to transition in life. He goes, and you should call Sarah Van Tine. He goes, I don't know if you can get either of them. He goes, and I know there's no way you'll get both of them. He goes, but you might get one of them. And so playing the odds, I called both of them, right?
Of course, exactly.
Okay, hi, I'm doing both calls, and by golly, it's like that guy says in the Tucker movie, they caught the dream. And
amazing movie there too. Yeah.
We are so daggone blessed to have them on our team. They are both rock stars. They're both challenging me to be a better leader. They are both challenging our company to keep growing and being better and better. And they're relentless about their passion. We're going to make automotive better.
Well, this is one of the things that I love about you. And before that, of course, I do know Dave and Sarah, and I've had conversations with her over the years. People that have tried, have come after her and offered her, etc. You get them both. Now, I know, like I said, I know a little bit about all three of you. Probably you more, and second that would be Dave and Sarah. But what was different? What do you think was different? I mean, I think I know what it was, but what was different with Dave Obrien going after these two, and why they decided to be a part of the dream?
I think the Dave O'Brien that today talks to people about joining Quantum is a really different leader than I was 10, 15, 20 years ago. Um, Today, as we're building Quantum, I'm I'm so intentional about building the right culture. I'm so intentional about having leaders who can do what they want, who can build the way they want, about staying out of their way. Um, we do some odd things here. Um, I mean, I do unlimited PTO for our team. And
Nice.
if I find out they're not spending enough time with family, I'm probably going to rat them out to their family and go, hey, Charity has unlimited PTO. She doesn't have to be here as much.
Right.
I invest in them. Every one of our executives gets a really significant education credit they can use every year for their own personal development. But I think most of all, and I'll just relate a Dave Foy conversation.
Okay.
Sure.
So
Please.
Dave Foy was feeling, I want to do more. Dave, the role you have me in, I think I can do more for the company. And I said, okay, so design it. Go look at your strengths. Go look at our gaps. Go tell me how those strengths fill those gaps, and tell me how the work's going to give you so much joy that you'll be the best at it. And 2 weeks go by. And so he calls me and he goes, I just got to tell you, you're messing with my head. I just need you to tell me that you think I can go do this operations job for us, and then tell me what you want me to go do. And I go, I'm not going to lead that way. I go, I will help you design it. I will help you think it through, but you're going to design your work based on company gaps and your strengths and what gives you joy. And we talked through it so he could get to a framework.
Sure.
He came back to me with this awesome description and design for his work. And at the end of it, he said, this is, and by the way, Sarah had the same assignment and it was just as hard for her. And he goes, this is such different thinking than automotive. This is such different thinking than most companies, that we get to design our work around our skills, the company gaps, and joy. And they said, we're sort of odd, but this is awesome. And I never would have led that way in the past. And
no,
when
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Strong, great people together, I think you have to give them that kind of room, because I want them to go home to their family every night and go, this is joyful, and I'm doing meaningful work, and I was built to do it.
True.
That's
People,
really nice.
you really hit on something. I mean, we could spend probably 2 or 3 hours. Of course, we don't have that kind of time, about servant leadership and giving back and elevating other people, inspiring and motivating them. Or I think almost as much as the air we breathe, Dave, that people want to know that they count, that they make a difference, and that they're part of something bigger than just themselves, and that it's okay to step outside of your comfort zone and be uncomfortable. It's okay to say, hey, this is what I'd like to do, but I can't really. And then somebody who's been there, like yourself, help them find exactly, put all the pieces together. And I'll bet that's what's different about Quantum5 and how you approach automotive, because people do want to be inspired and led, and they want to get in touch with their why, and because that builds a level of passion and excitement. And as a result, action follows that. And as a result, there's results, right? It's biblical. You reap what you sow.
Yep.
Is that part of what Quantum5 does as well?
It's what we try to live internally. And by example, it's what we try and then through our leadership training to help leaders of automotive be able to embrace.
Wow.
We want to help them see that the more they stop forcing people to do scripts, the more they stop forcing people follow these 10 steps or take the service drive. You must walk around the car exactly this way. This is the only question you ask when you get by the tires. The more you get rid of that, the more you bring the energy out of the human so that they go to work and they go, I get to be me and I get to be good at this. And I get to do all of that aimed at making a customer have a great experience.
That is so foreign because I grew up on the variable side. It's like there's always a process and a road and things to be done and things said in a particular way and style, et cetera, et cetera. Kind of like that's truly amazing.
By the way, I can still recite some of the scripts that I taught people when I was teaching the Pat Ryan F&I school for years. I remember exactly going, this is how you do the frequency of repair objection handling.
Oh my
I
God.
can remember phone scripts I taught people. Always start the call by taking the curse off the call. Charity, did I get you at a good time?
Oh gosh.
Well,
You know,
think about it. When you say to somebody, did I catch you at a bad time? They're more inclined to say, yeah, now's not a good time, right? But it's, well, did I catch you at a good time? Well, as good a time as any. What you got? You know, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Simple.
we were all taught, do it this way and you can control who? The customer. And what do we know today? The control of a customer is a complete illusion.
Yes, it is.
Right?
Yeah.
The best thing you can do is become an advocate to help them complete their journey. And, you know, we believe in helping salespeople and service advisors and leaders become an advocate for the customer because there's a lot of profit in being a great advocate.
Yes, there is.
That's
a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Dave, we've heard a little bit about how you lead your company. Can you tell us maybe something that's come up along the way for Quantum5 that it did something you didn't expect?
Yeah. I think the thing that surprised us most has been, so we love data. We get data before we start with a client, just like you guys do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of foreign to training. And so one of our clients, a large public dealer group, said, well, we want to give you performance data, but we're not willing to trade gross profit for lower CSI. And we kind of went, okay, well, we know we can help them move numbers, but we really hadn't thought through how much impact we'd have on CSI, right? And that was 14 months ago. And what surprised us most was CSI has moved month over month in their group and in all of our client relationships. It moves month over month in unison with improved performance. So I think I didn't think it through. I didn't know it would translate to CSI as equally as our work translated to business improvement. It did catch me off guard. And I'd say the second thing that caught me off guard was I thought COVID had helped the dealers become more comfortable with training that was virtual like this.
Mm-hmm.
And from our earliest days, our business assumption was 70% of our training would be done virtual, 30% in person. And from the fall of 2020, our earliest pilot clients said, no, just put a mask on, get on an airplane. We want to see you. And it's like they still so much more comfortable if they see a training event in person versus virtual. Those have been the two biggest ones, Charity.
Yeah.
That's a great question. Certainly a great answer as well. It's amazing that before COVID, this is a great subsidizing, the virtual stuff, but people, it's so Zig Ziglar said it best: if you help enough other people get what they want, you're going to get what you want. And really, my son asked me many years ago. He's a little grown up now, and he's on the right track. But he said, "Dad, how do you know if you're making the right decisions in life? Because you seem to make all the right decisions." I laughed. Well, that's not true. However, I said most decisions or all decisions revolve typically around other people, and if those people benefit and you benefit, it's typically the right decision. If you benefit at the expense of those people around you, it's typically going to be the wrong decision. And there's consequences, right? When you say something or where you do something, you put that out there. There are definitely consequences for that. Do you agree with that?
I agree completely.
Yeah.
And
Do you have a mentor?
I had my meeting with my executive coach this morning. He's my current mentor. In my early days at Pat Ryan, I had really three people really make a difference in my career. One was a guy named John England, who was the president of the training division. Another was a guy named Rusty Kernan. People tell me I say Rustyisms all the time, who knew Rusty like I did. Rusty had a really formative impact for me about, things like never park your car in front of the dealership, park in the last possible spot at the back of the dealership, never go in a dealership without your briefcase, back when we had briefcases. They don't need more friends. They need people there to add value, Dave. And John was always great about helping me focus on care for our people, but at the same time, grow revenue for the company. Care for our team, grow revenue. For John, they couldn't be separated. We couldn't grow revenue on the backs or travel pain of our team. It had to be balanced. Those were the early guys.
Those people that contributed to your career like that, was it also life in general or just the career side, or did it have a profound effect on both personal and professional?
I think it had an effect on both. So I can remember a day when I was going to go home. Really, I'd had a difficult visit with a dealership, and they, in my opinion, they weren't trying to better themselves with what we were doing. And I was really frustrated. And I was in Chicago back then. So I had the long train ride from downtown home to where I lived in the suburbs. And I was in a really bad mood. And I got called in the office by Rusty. And he was always good to have a little Jameson bottle in his desk. And he called me in and he goes, "What are you in a bad mood about?" And I said, "Well, this, that, and the other thing." He goes, "So tell me the names of the three kids again." He knew them. And I go, "Oh, it's Brendan, Sean, and Connor." He goes, "So sit down, have a wee drap of whiskey." He goes, "Then go get on that train and just keep repeating their names over and over the whole train ride home." He goes, "And there's something wrong with you if Jameson and your kids don't help you forget about that crazy situation."
Wow.
That's
profound, Dave.
Funny story, right? When Rusty retired, I took over a guy named Obrien. So I took over the spot of always keep a bottle of Jameson in my desk drawer. It's really difficult now that we live this virtual office life. But for years, I'd always keep my eye out for anybody on the team that was, a little low and about to go home, and maybe inflict that on their family, like I was about to go home and inflict grouchy on my family.
Mm-hmm.
And I would call them in the office and I'd go, "Let me tell you a story somebody told me one time," and I'd make them have a wee dram, and then I'd say, "I'll go home to the family." Yeah, try to carry it on.
That's yeah, it's really, you don't want to bring that stuff home. We've all learned some hard lessons with that, haven't we?
Yes, sir.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, Dave, what do you think are some of the biggest challenges you face in business right now?
So I think we're at an interesting inflection point in our growth. The greatest challenge we face is that quantum has become known in the automotive community better and better. And we we talk about stuff like be an advocate for the customer. And I had a dealer recently choose to delay hiring us. And when I followed up from what our team's conversations were, I said, Scott, talk me through this. And he said, Dave, all this stuff about being nice to customers, you guys just seem soft. And he goes, I don't see the hard objection handling stuff. And he goes, the business is getting tougher. And he goes, I don't know that you're the guys that are going to teach my people to hammer deals closed.
No.
And I think the greatest challenge Quantum faces is, and to answer his question, right? If you go look at our client improvement data, which would share with anybody, people are increasing customer pay gross on service drives. They're converting more emails into sales, more phone calls into sales. They're getting better CSI, which gets them OEM bonuses.
True that.
So in every way, I think we're doing the work that makes a dealer more profitable, and the measurements indicate. But because of what our philosophy is about being good to the learner, about keeping their privacy, about caring for them deeply, keeping them in community, our greatest challenge is, and Charity, this will make sense to you with your marketing thoughts, right? Is how do I walk the line between who we are and who they want me to say we are?
Yeah.
And
wow. Yeah.
breaking through that, it's the same for your company, right? You have this great company doing great things, but how do we also compete with the voices in the marketplace? I'm competing with voices in the marketplace, and I won't say any names, but that are holding seminars that still are indicative of payment packeting. If you look at these new FTC regulations, right? Dealers are going to have to keep and turn over at any request all training material for 2 years. Let me just tell you, there's a few dealers using training folks that you both know of that ought to be shaken in the timbers right now.
I probably have some of them back from the 80s and early 90s. I do.
I might have written some of them. So how do we help automotive in this environment where if you take such great care of a customer, gross is a byproduct of the great experience and the great skills that a service advisor or a salesperson employ. But at the same time, Quantum doesn't connect with every general manager or dealer, because we don't do rah, we're going to teach your people how to hammer something closed. But we really do help them with objection handling like there's no tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So that's our greatest dilemma, I think.
I mean, in the end,
sorry, Russell. I think that Russell and I can relate to that, and I think one thing that we have on our side with FixedOPS marketing and Quantum5, we have a solid product. We provide a lot of value, and I think that's something we really have on our sides. I'm very grateful for that as someone in marketing, to be able to sell and preach a quality product, happy customers. Even though we can't get everybody, we can't convince everybody that we're the best, but we know we're the best.
Yeah.
And I think those actions actually match those words. I mean, a lot of what you do or what you said, maybe at a different level, but we have a phenomenal team. We have no brick and mortar. Everybody's virtual. We have a way to stay in touch and communicate, and we have, meetings and individual, etc. But everybody we have, the team, I really do believe the acronym, together everybody achieves more for team, right? And we have a phenomenal team. I learned over the years, as when I was running stores, I needed to know how to do it all, Dave. I needed to, so my people would respect me and look up to me. And I found out that's a status leadership, right? Still too arrogant to really understand success, not a servant leadership. And So I think it's really important. What I learned was I can't do what Charity does. We wouldn't be where we're at today if it wasn't for somebody like Charity and Patty and Leanne and some of the other team members. We have our programmer Matt. I can go. There's we got 15, 17 names, but we our actions match our words. We have a solid product. We provide a tremendous amount of value, and that's going to lead what I wanted to ask you about. If a dealer calls you, Quantum says it all, and they want to do business with you, do you do business with anybody who calls you and wants to sign up for you?
No, I think
Is that hard to say, or
well, we've fired one customer already, which is crazy talk for a 2-year-old company that only has 150, 160 rooftops.
well, not with somebody that thinks like Dave O'Brien. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I knew we were gonna fail. I mean, it's just a matter of more moments. Um, I I I can quickly tell who's going to say no to me. And what I do is I just don't. It's not that I don't do business with them. I just keep describing who we are, and so wait, I'll tell you guys a story because you guys know the dealership group. I'm not going to say it, but they have 35 stores and they're growing like a weed.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And so I was doing the presentation, and one of their senior people said, "So look, are you telling me about this privacy stuff that you're not going to tell us how many minutes a day and how many tests they got right? How much were they in your app? Because if you're not going to tell us that, I'm just telling you it's a deal breaker." And so I knew it wasn't a good match. And again, at the age of our company, to scare off a 35 dealership group is like crazy talk.
Yeah.
But I looked at him and I said, if I break your people's trust by weaponizing training the way the OEM weaponizes it and tells you how many minutes, how many levels they've completed, I go, if I do that, you will get the same result you get out of the OEM training. How's that going for you? I said, I'm going to build trust with your people, and you're going to evaluate me every month on, did I move your business better? And if I don't, I give you your money back and you fire me. I go, and if that doesn't work for you, I understand we're not right for everybody. And he goes, well, you don't have to worry about us finding that enticing.
Yeah,
Wow.
I know exactly what it's really amazing. Everything is about people. Everything is about people. And I know if you make enough of the right kind of deposits into people, when it's time to make withdrawal, it's a very easy thing to do. They want to do that. How to handle heat cases. And, I think you and I've talked about this, and Quantum says it all. Okay. You're talking about a huge leap over traditional, anything that everybody goes atypical in training and process, etc. But you're approaching it in such a different way that I think everybody wants more. I really think that sometimes they're a little standoffish and they don't really understand, or they're not asking the right questions, but people just want to feel like they're a part of something. They really do. And if they do, you can maximize that stuff. And for me, the way I've learned to live my life, I love being comfortable. Don't get me wrong. Some people take this out of context, but for me, life is really at the edge of my comfort zone. That's where I experience real growth and engagement and getting and stepping out into areas that I haven't stepped into. And then when I do that, when other people stay where they're at, I meet somebody like a Dave O'Brien that says, hey, I love you. I trust you. Let me introduce you to this person. Let me introduce you to that person. That is, and if you knew my backstory, it's almost like, how could I ever be here right now? How could I be here right now with Charity and Dave having this conversation? And I'm sure we all have such similar stories, but it's really all about people, right? It's all about people.
Yeah, I think I've always had that natural bend that felt that way. I've had bosses in my career early on that said, you can't keep worrying about these people. You got to get the company its results. My partner, Ken Herforth, had a boss when he was in big company, Fortune 100, corporate America, that said to him once, you know why you'll never make it to the top? Because you worry too much about all these people. And I decided, long ago that I was going to. So I think you and I have talked about this one, Russell. I'm going to live my life by being a net favor doer, not a net favor taker.
Man,
And one of our early conversations was you and I figuring out how to do things that helped each other. And I said to you, I go, Russell, I'm afraid it'll be slanted. I'm afraid you'll end up introducing us to more than I introduce you to. And therefore, I think we just have to be really careful to figure out how to not let that happen.
Well, when you say that, and I specifically remember that conversation, Sherry told me, I think it was day before yesterday or something, that so we're Charity's designing our booth for NADA, right, 2023, and your booth is like right next to ours, I think.
We're neighbors.
We're
Are
neighbors.
you serious?
Yes, this is so
that's
awesome. Yeah, this is great. So yeah.
Yeah.
And
We
by
just got
then,
our design back. We just got our design back. I just paid the bill happily.
yeah, well, we haven't done that yet. We're still designing, but we're going to have WTF there in part of our booth where we can live stream people and stuff like our clients and people that are not. What was I going to say?
Boy's doing the same with his podcast.
Yeah. Oh, is he? Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
We can go back and forth, right?
We're waving to each other.
Yeah. When we finish each other, that with our respective clients, say, "Hey, come on over here and do one with us," or "Hey, come on over here and do one with them."
Sure.
This is great.
Yeah, we're going to invite all kinds of people to come and
Yes.
join us at NADA for our booth, and we are excited. We are neighbors with you, and
We
I'll
are
get to
excited.
meet you in person there, which is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, you missed him at NADA. Sherry was working the booth, but I certainly listened to you. You had a breakout or something, and you're speaking as well. Again, in a what's it called, Charity? A workshop.
Workshop.
Yeah.
So both Sarah and I were blessed to be given the opportunity. Sarah's doing this topic that's called the Hidden Profits in Your Service BDC
Wow.
dash finance and insurance. And she's really pioneered and piloted some very cool things with a few of our clients now. My topic is a leadership topic, and I'm doing the new leadership is retention.
It is. Now,
And when does your presentation? Why don't you give a shout out?
yes.
I wish I remembered.
Well, it can't be that hard to find, right?
Yeah, I have two sessions. Sarah has two sessions. One opening day and one on Saturday. So I have a Thursday and I have a Saturday, and I think Sarah has a Thursday and a Saturday, or a Friday, Saturday, both of us.
This is great. So happy for you guys.
Yeah,
You mentioned you mentioned
Well, this is my first chance to be back in the big room at NADA. And I'll tell you guys a funny story, you'll laugh. So in 1997, I'm at Pat Ryan. I'm the vice president of the F&I training division. And I get selected to speak at NADA. And think back to Pat Ryan, right? Your suit, your tie.
Oh yeah.
Very, navy blue suits. So my bosses got me ready. They sent me to get a new suit, new striped tie. And okay, I'd never even been to NADA, let alone be a speaker at NADA. So I get there and I had practiced, I'm at a lectern. We were using a Lotus, not Lotus Notes, but some Lotus software that allowed for presentation, right? And so I got it all loaded. I got it on a laptop. Nobody prepped me for how big the room was. It was set for 1,000.
Oh my gosh.
And if you think back to those early days, there were 4 squares of seating. And in the middle, remember, the dealer would go swipe for education credits so that it would log in so that they could write the trip off. So I get up and I've got 50 minutes and I start. And I'm 20 minutes in of very serious standing at a podium talking, and people start to get up and go swipe and they walk out the door. And I'm like, where are they going?
Is this part of the procedure or what? Right.
And I'm like, well, what am I doing wrong? And now that like the sweat's starting everywhere, and I'm like, okay. So now I'm 40 minutes in. I started with maybe 800 people in the room. I'm down to 400 people in the room. And people are swiping and leaving, and it's getting in my head more. It's getting in my head more. It's getting in, and my friends that were all there from the company said it was like watching air come out of a balloon.
Oh.
And I literally was shrinking in my confidence every moment. By the time 50 minutes are over, there's 200 people left in the room, and I am just sure that they're going to not even let me go up and do my next session the next day. Right. And everybody's pulling me over, and my bosses are there, and they go, you did a great job, but what happened? I mean, you lost energy, you lost everything. I go, what? Why didn't you tell me I could walk around? Why didn't you tell me they were going to leave? Why didn't you? What were they doing in that machine back there? And so I turned in proposals to speak at NADA for many years after that, and I never got selected till last year. And Russell, you were out there last year. And if you remember, I had a whole different attitude than stand still at a lectern, right? Yep. And I am thrilled to redeem myself in a big room at NADA. And we're going to have fun, and we're going to learn, and we're going to challenge ourselves. And I'm so grateful to NADA for, although it's, gosh, almost 30 years later, 25 years later.
Wow. So I don't know. When I think about people getting up like that, I'm the kind of guy, after I start seeing more and more of them get up, I go, hey, hold on. Where in the hell are y'all going? Sit back down. No.
Oh, I wish I had the courage.
So so there's your experience with NADA is there's that many people in a room that, first of all, anybody gets up and speaks publicly, it's nerve wracking as all get out. And when you got people starting to swipe and leave like that, I could just imagine I would start sweating profusely. Who knows? I don't even know what I'd do, but I had no idea the rooms are that big.
Was it a keynote or was it a breakout?
It was a breakout.
Okay.
But it was, the F&I section wasn't that big back then. And if you remember, 1997 was the beginning of the Washington state lawsuits about payment packing. So my topic was very timely, very centered on how compliance was entering F&I, but that we could still be profitable. So for whatever reason, they anticipated I'd have a large audience because of my topic. Wow. But nobody told me that. No. They didn't go, hey.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on getting your first speaking engagement in 30 years.
Yeah.
And Russell and I are really blessed too. We got our first speaking engagement accepted.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
Now you're scaring me though. And the topic is EV and the future of fixed operations. Some of the stuff we'll cover. It's about leadership. It's about people. It's about, hey, yeah, okay. EV, yeah, I get it, understand that. But if we focus on the basic blocking and tackling and the fundamentals of taking care of the customer and stop the bleeding and the defection, it's going to be a no big deal type of thing. Of course, I think really, honestly, they wouldn't have ever chose me, Dave. Okay, they wouldn't have done it without charity. I'm just telling you that right now.
Hello, everyone. I wanted to tell you about a workshop we're holding at NADA 2023. We're covering how EV adoption rates will impact fixed operations in the future. We'll show you real and meaningful data that might just put you at ease. Or maybe not. You'll have to come see. Come join us at our workshop, How Electric Vehicles Will Change Fixed Operations. We'll see you there.
Well, one, because, she's in a, she's the chief marketing officer of a starting to be a fairly big company. And women in automotive is huge. I really think it makes a difference when they're looking, they see Russell, and then they see Russell and Charity and say, oh, she's the chief. Oh yeah, let's do that EV. Oh yeah, let's do fixed operations, because everybody's talking about that right now, right? Yeah. It's but now you scared the who out of me with if there's going to be that many people in the room.
1,000 people is a lot.
Yeah,
it is a lot, but you're not alone.
I don't know how big they set these up for, but
I don't know.
Draw really well.
Right.
Thank you very much. Now, I just drew a blank and forgot what I was going to say.
Well, I have a question for you, and it kind of goes off what you were talking about a little bit earlier. Um, what is one lesson in your job or your career that you think everyone should learn at some point in their life?
Do more than you ask for. Without hesitation, do more than you ask for. I think when you concentrate on give with no expectation of anything back, I was on a phone call yesterday, and you got Russell, you get approached, Charity, you get approached just like we do as a growing company. And somebody said, hey, I really want to partner with you, and I'm willing to pay this every time you guys help me get a client. And I said, I just got to tell you, I don't want the money. And they went, well, what? And I said the same thing to you. I go, I don't want to do this for money. I only want to do it if it's in the best interest of my clients. I go, and I would tell you that the first thing I'll want to do is get you a client, because I need them to tell me about you before I can do more than that. I said, and you don't have to get me any. I go, it's okay.
Yeah.
And I found, and this was a really great influence. Russell and I both know him in my life, a guy named Mike Stewart. And when Mike and I were starting a business together, Mike said to me, he said, Dave, he goes, go in the marketplace and be a net favor doer. Don't be a net favor taker. Just do with no expectation. He goes, and the business will grow.
So that's great, because when I met Mike, I think I met you about the same time, but I don't have the big version of it. But we went to lunch or something like that. I was working with the Van Tile, Larry Van Tile group out there, and he went in the store and he bought me the 4 agreements.
There you go.
And I've already read it 3 times. I just finished it for the 3rd time a couple of weeks ago, just to keep it fresh. But he invited me to his house. It goes on and on and on. And I learned early on, and I, like you'd mentioned, I felt like I needed to say this, but I like you, or we like you, we get approached all the time. And Dave, I'm saying it's every day because of our social media stuff, that people want to partner with us somehow, because not because anything more than they know that I'm very connected to a lot of people. And I'm very, very, very careful about that too. And then they want to talk about this revenue share. And I'm saying, I'm not interested in that. Yeah. I'm not interested in how much here's what I will do. Okay. And I've only done it for very few out of probably a couple hundred in the last 2 years. I'll introduce you to some people that I know and open that door. And if you walk through, it's up to you. You owe me nothing. Okay. Because I really believe it'll always come back to me. And I might not be able to say it's because of this or that, or when I do things for people, I'm not the kind of guy that comes back, hey, I did a favor for you. Now I need you to do one for me. Oh, that's a pet peeve. Goes all over me. If somebody needs $20 or something like that, I'll give them 20. I'll pay you back next. It don't matter. It don't matter, because resentment starts to build when you do that, and you become a really unhappy person. And that, you can say whatever you want to say, but your body can't lie. So if your actions don't match your words, you'll get that uncomfortable feeling, right? If we're really watching.
I mean, scorekeeping in relationships. My wife and I teach a marriage prep class at our church, right? And
wow.
I always talk about scorekeeping, right? Because in any relationship, me and Charity become friends, but if we become scorekeepers, who did what, who was nice, who bought lunch, scorekeeping destroys relationship. So that's why I agree with you so much about, don't even talk to me about money, because it will accidentally build up. It'll turn into scorekeeping. It'll turn into resentment, and then it's ruined. For 25 years, I don't introduce anybody to my dealer for money, and I do it, and my dealers know it. So if I call, right. And I think John Malashenko is the COO at Germain. If I called John Malashenko and I said, I need you to meet so-and-so, they're doing something way different, he'd go, yes, because I don't do that except once every 2 or 3 years. And
because he knows nothing's in it for you. Yeah. He knows Dave Obrien, And it's not something every other week somebody comes up with, somebody, you have somebody different you want them to, because they know there's an angle or a motive or an agenda there. You're not the angle, motive, or agenda. Not that you don't have them. You do, because you have a company, obviously. But that's not the way you operate personally and professionally.
No.
No, I think
that's great advice too. Scorekeeping and not to do it with your friends, with your family. That's very good advice for anyone out there.
Yeah.
It really is.
My wife and I learned it early.
Where's my wife? Where's my husband? Right? No.
Yeah. And because I learned it early in marriage, it transcended to my business life. And Mike Stewart was just another important influence about be a giver, don't be a taker.
I have the original PI right here in my desk drawer from back then.
Wow.
And I've taken it again a couple of times since then, and it's exactly the same. It's incredible. After all these years, right? That was 20 years ago or 21 years ago, something like that. Anyway, I think that's where I digress. I didn't want to do that. So why don't you do this, Dave? Tell us about your family and what makes you most proud. And I believe you have 4 children and 2 grandchildren. Is that right?
I do. Hang on. Somebody just walked in.
It's okay. No problem. That was Cherry's question anyway. I stole that, didn't I, Charity?
Say hi. You just walked in while we were videotaping a podcast, but they'll edit it.
Yes, we will.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, that may be a good outtake.
So, I would not be where I am today if it weren't for that blonde haired girl that just stuck her head in the door. We met when we were 16. We are that crazy rare story that has been together ever since. I have 3 times in our life said, hey, I want to quit my job and start a company, or, hey, I have a chance to invest in this company. Can I please have money? And each time my careful, cautious accountant girl looked at me and went, I believe, let's go. Let's do it. We'll find a way. We'll make it work.
Wow.
And, the support that she gave me allowed me to be me and be here. And man, don't make me tear up on this darn thing, because I'm just so darn grateful that I couldn't be where I am and be who I am were it not for her. And then, when I was off doing crazy stuff, she's raising, we have a 30-year-old, and then I have twins. They're 27 years old. Well, you can imagine what that was like when. No,
I don't think I could, but go ahead.
And the others were 4, right?
Right.
And Dave's going, I got to get on an airplane on a Sunday because I'm going to go to training for a week. I'll be back Friday night. And she was this wonderful mom who was also this steadfast trooper of, don't worry, I got it. I'll be okay. So I have twin boys, Sean and Connor, and my son Brendan is the only one married. The other 2 are still, I keep going, I need more than 2 grandkids, guys. Let's go get it together here. Because Brendan and Natalie's my daughter-in-law, who's awesome. And they gave us 6-year-old Caden, and my granddaughter Lily is a little over 2 years old now. She owns my heart. They named her after my mother, Lillian. And I'm sure it's all psychological transference, but we're positive that it's Lillian reincarnated, because she is strong, she is assertive, she is just wants a cracker in both hands. It's just, she's awesome.
Do you see him often?
Yeah, I see them a lot. The boys are down in the valley. The twins are down in the valley. Brendan and Natalie. So part of building a new home was, how could I build something so fun I could bribe my kids that want to keep coming to see me?
There you go.
Good strategy.
It is, really.
Brendan, Natalie, and the kids come up at least every weekend so far this summer. Sean and Connor come up and play golf with me about every 3rd week, and I get to see them. 2 of my sons work for me. Happily for them, they don't work for me, they work for Dave Foy, which is awesome because I get Dave mentoring them.
Yeah.
One of them is 2 years now in recovery and sober, Russell, and Dave's his mentor, friend, coach as he continues his journey. So I have this beautiful connection with 2 of them and the great people in my office environment.
That's awesome.
But I'm, for me, everything is about trying to figure out how to make up for the lost time I had when I was young, building career like crazy, like you guys, and I missed too many things. So now I don't miss a single one of Caden's soccer games. I'm not going to miss one.
Yeah.
You can't get me away.
Yeah.
And I'll give Lily the same gift. So
that's great. Your wife, I got to meet her and hug her because I'm a hugger, right? At NADA, it was great, and of course I know Brendan. I got to meet him too. Dave for the first time. As a matter of fact, at NADA I met Charity. I've never met her before in person. It's always been, yeah. So it's, yeah, exactly.
It sounds like you've got a really interconnected personal and professional life with a lot of great people that are around you. And it's really nice to hear about your family. And
yes, thank you so much and sharing what you did.
Yeah. So let's jump into some quick fire questions. We're running out of time. So these are quick, easy, fun, and put you on the spot. We'll see how it goes. All right. If your parents were to guess what you'd be when you grew up, what would they have guessed?
A lawyer.
Oh, really?
That's what they encouraged. That's what they wanted. My dad owns 3 car dealerships, said, don't go in the car business. Don't go in the car business.
If you won $10 million tomorrow, what would you spend it on?
I wouldn't spend it. I would throw it in the family trust and I wouldn't do anything different.
Wow.
If you could give your 18-year-old self some advice, what would that be?
Oh, I would absolutely be a better dad. And what I mean by that was, I wasn't the dad who got down on the ground and played. I was building my first business. I was serious. I was focused. Then when that business got bought by Pat Ryan and they said, Dave, go do this, I went and did it. And I missed too many T-ball games and Pee-wee soccer games. And I wasn't that goofy, funny, put on clown makeup. I watch my son, Brendan, now, who is just this marvelous dad. I just watch him in awe of, holy cow, what a good dad he is. And I wish I would have told my 18-year-old self, have more fun, be more loose, quit worrying about what it looks like, and don't take work so serious.
I love that question because I think no matter what anybody says, we can all relate to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I get a second chance myself, similar, with 4 grandkids, and all of our kids and grandkids live within 9 minutes. So it's every week we're interacting at some level or another. And like you mentioned earlier, one of my side passions is I enjoy working with people in recovery and giving back that way too. It's really important. So, Charity, I think there's one more, right?
One more. Well, basically, Dave, if there's anything that we didn't cover that you would like to say, or this is your time to take a couple minutes, you have the floor to tell our audience whatever you'd like.
Yes.
I think I'd say thank you first. I love watching people build positive community in automotive. I love rooting for them. I've watched when you guys started this to what it's grown into. I think all of us that are really dedicated to making automotive better have to play well together, because if we don't play well together and build a strong vendor community, the OEM is going to start taking dealer choice away. Brian Pash preaches it all the time, and I agree with him, that the better we work together, the more we help the dealer keep his power of choice. So the community work you're doing at, let's keep all of us talking, let's keep all of us sharing, let's be good for each other. I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful for you to have me on. And I hope our fellow companies that are in the fixed op space, I hope we do a better and better job instead of beating each other down, of building each other up so that dealers keep their choice.
Yeah. Well, everybody, listen. You heard it right here. And we could have gone on and on and on, but I got to tell you, we are so honored and humbled to have Dave Obrien, the CEO of Quantum5. It's easy to get a hold of him because most of you know who we are. Hopefully, with this episode of WTF, you got much more of an insight of Dave Obrien, the man, the myth, the legend, how he operates, and the people he surrounds himself, and what he actually empowers those people to actually do to have the successful company that he has today. So find him, like him, love him, share him, his company, Quantum5, or him too. You can follow him on Facebook, I'm sure, right? And it's a great journey. And we just thank you very much. Same thing for us. Like us, love us, share us. You will see it'll be a little bit for those of you who are just think this is going to happen, but it'll be out shortly, and you'll get to see all the short little episodes and tidbits of, and you hopefully I got some insight today, and I know Dave Obrien that I didn't have before, and you know what, I think that'll happen for you all too. Thank you very much, Dave. Charity, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for watching. I hope you're enjoying this episode of WTF. We come up with new episodes and shorts all the time. We launch them on YouTube, LinkedIn, and all of your favorite podcasting networks. And we'd like to ask for your support. Please head over to our LinkedIn company page, like and follow us there. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. We have a strong lineup of automotive experts coming your way. We don't want you to miss it. Thank you so much.
Oh, who's this?
Yeah.
Who's this?
That's Bogey.
Bogey, I thought you had a different type of, what do you call them? Not English Bulldog.